Okay, let's see what we got tonight.
Oh, look, it's those weird people, those EEARTS people. Hey, and you know who you are. I just want to say, welcome back for more punishment.
K heads 2, number 1, Enrique Ponce, number 2, and Robbie, you're number 3.
Awesome possum.
Yeah, it was kind of a off day for us. Yeah, we just had some issues today, and some of it technically oriented. Hey, Yoga Seeds. Peter, good to see you. Beautiful Mary D in the house.
And we have a xenomorphat sighting. Hi, xenomorphat.
There she is.
There she
Jen's
is.
in the house. Lee Thomas, Christine Love, Cynthia Cross, Dreaming of Puerto Rico, Stefan Gresco. Who's that sassy Susie? She's trouble.
She's rotten. Let me check on her.
Susan Donahue, awesome to see you. Jenny Pace, Dana Green, Rosale Eduardo, 5D Life. Awesome, guys, awesome. I hope everybody is doing well and had a fabulous day so far.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, let's talk about the energy today for a minute, you guys. I don't know if you guys can relate at all, but, just I felt like I was plugged into a socket last night. I was just on, and it was really miserable. And no matter how hard I tried, I could not get shut off. And a lot of times, sometimes when people are in fight or flight and they're locked in, that's how it feels. You cannot snap out of it. And I was like that last night. And I got a couple hours sleep. Grateful for that. Yep, staying in the gratitude. But boy, sure makes for kind of a wonky day. It messes up your sleep. It makes you cranky. You guys know how it is. Enough of that.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those. It's been a couple of those, really. Okay, we have a grandma in Peru. Good to see you, Sharon. Pedigree Monkey, Melanie Murphy, Johnny Midas. Been a while. It's good to see you, Johnny. Oh, there's Barbara. Barbara Burnshead in the house.
Awesome to see you, Barbara. Yay.
Yeah, it's been tough sleeping. The Schumann is pretty high. Everything's really pretty quiet with the sun. But yeah, sleep has been weird. I mean, just weird. It seems like everybody's having a little up and down time when it comes to sleep.
Yeah, no, it's just not normal. The energy is not normal out there, and sometimes you can catch it. Like I've gone grocery shopping and seen that like everyone around me looks like they're in some kind of a zombie mode. It's like their eyes are just sort of dead, and they're just sort of kind of like drooling to a drum. They're just walking. They're not looking. They're not, they're not anything. They're just sort of in this zombie state, and that really creeps me out. So I thought I saw a little of that today too.
Yeah, I think more people are remembering their dreams. I think that's part of going into a new age, new era. You're going to just have all new experiences. I think everything is going to get much more intense. And the world is kind of tense right now when you look at the headlines.
It is, and it's great to see so many people in here. It's great to see you guys. I'm glad you made live. So those of you who didn't, you definitely stick around. Those of you who normally don't make the lives, please stick around because we always do prayers, and we do have some prayers to say today, and we will do some dings, and we will do some things at the end.
Yeah, we were going to go live last night, and then we just got so zonked, we couldn't do it. It just hit us out of the blue. And then it was still not a great night as far as sleeping. And we had a couple of what felt like maybe close calls. So we had an electrician out because it seemed like there was a smell, which was getting us worried about an electrical fire. So we had some work done today. It's just been one of those days.
I know it was really weird. A couple of times I woke up and to me, my brain says fire. So, I mean, I could see the smoke, but my brain was doing that because I could smell the smoke. So instantly I see the smoke, and it was really quite traumatic for 1-2 nights until we could get somebody out here today. And he says, well, it's good, good to cover your bases and check all the things, especially if if that happens to you, that's not by accident. Those are things to be looked at.
Yeah, a lot of you guys going through the same thing. The dreams are wild, aren't they? The dreams are like next level. They're just crazy. And, I think the vividness. And then if you are able to remember them, I would definitely jot them down. Jot down whatever you can remember, because that is a really good way to work towards lucid dreaming and taking control. Like yesterday, I did, like during the middle of a dream, it's like, okay, wait a minute, remember, take control of this situation. And I especially love it when you're astral projecting and you're out there flying around. I mean, there's so little that's more fun than, flying around out of body. And then you recognize that you're out and you take control in the dream. Lucid dreaming is definitely a blast.
Yeah, and K-Head says, dryers smell like lint here, but we don't have a dryer. It was something like that. It really should not have smelled the way that it did. And it could have been a bunch of things. It's just it happened a couple times in a row and was disturbing, along with some other bumps in the night and, a little poltergeist activity here, poltergeist activity there. You just kind of cover your bases.
Yeah, so we're going to cover like the geopolitical, but we're going to touch on a bunch of different things as we tend to always do. This is Candace Owens. We know of her, although honestly I don't follow her. But this one was one I just had to hit play just to hear. And let's see if we could listen in. It's pretty wild what's coming out now. I mean, we're going to Star Wars, Star Trek, and the Twilight Zone all wrapped in one.
Something very disturbing is happening in America. I feel like Amfest or what it did for me was it contributed to my realization that the future, the dark future that everyone's always predicting, like the AI future, it's here. We're actually here. I think that we are fighting machines. I think that these people are not humans, that they're sentinels that maybe look like humans. That's how I feel. I feel like it's the single solitary event that contributed to my realization that the future is happening right now. And getting people into AI, I have always sensed it's demonic because I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, like my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human. I don't know if
Okay, so I'm going to stop it before she says that last line there, just because you never know. But yeah, you could read what she says right there. Yeah, I mean, are Terminators amongst us? Are hybrids amongst us? Okay, well, hybrids, but what type of hybrids? Are we talking, like Terminator, robot? Are we talking more like extraterrestrial or ultra-terrestrial? All the above? What do you guys think? What percentage, if you think this is really going on right now, do you have numbers? Like how much of the population out there is not Homo sapiens? Does anybody want to throw out a number? Throw out what you think, from anywhere from 0 to 100% in the chat room. What you think the percentage of non-Homo sapiens is walking planet Earth.
I know it's something that we have coming. It's something that I don't think should be new to anyone. It shouldn't be any kind of a shock at all. But there are those out there that they just don't believe. So what do we have? 70%, 35%. Yeah, keep going. Robbie, 33. Leave it to Robbie.
I love that,
Good job, Robbie.
Or 666, right?
50-50. Yeah, a little bit all over here and there. Some this end, some that end.
Yeah, 30%, 36%, another 33%. Um, this is really fascinating. 33%. And I
You know,
really
it
wonder.
probably is. I mean, just knowing the controllers the way we do, they probably fine tune this to the point where they can get a 33%. But even if it's not 33%, let's say it all blows up and finally we all know the truth. The headlines are going to be 33% of humans are not.
Right.
You know?
I'll tell you. Okay, 80-20. Vildan says 80-20. So is that 80% are hybrid machine aliens and 20% normal Homo sapiens? That would be a lot. Renee Matthews, probably all of us. Well, we are hybrids, for sure, but meaning, not pure Homo sapiens. That's really interesting because what I found is I thought maybe I was being out there thinking probably about a third. I think I was thinking about a third. But then it seems like more people I'm talking to, it seems like a lot of people think we might be the minority. Do you think we're the minority or the majority?
That's really curious. K-Heads brought up wormwood takes out a third, they say.
Ooh.
Good one, K-Heads. Good.
Former President Medvedev said there are so many it would cause alarm if people knew. Did he really say that? Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to look that one up to bring it in. So 40%, 37%, 80% towards yes. Wow. This is really interesting, guys. This is really interesting. Um, you know, she's so well known. You know what? Maybe I'm guilty of if somebody gets like massive numbers, I tend to just say they can't be for real. That's just me being totally honest with you guys. When I look at somebody and anything they do gets millions, I automatically kind of think, well, they got to be under the system's thumb. But saying this, why would the system want this knowledge out there? That's the thing. Why would they want us to think that?
I don't know. To me, it's just quite obvious. I feel they're monitoring us in real time. So they have people throw it out there, and then, all the data goes into these giant AI machines that they have out there that take a look at how we're thinking, feeling. I still see us as one big petri dish. And anybody who is given the information to say they still don't know where that comes from, above them and then above them and then above them, to the point where, there are strange beings running this planet. And I think it's finally sinking in. That's the thing that Mike and I have been saying for so long. Humans are not at the top.
So the nice young man that came out and did the electrical work for us today, I wouldn't say he's like one of us, a CONS piracy theorist, but we were on board with everything. He didn't do a certain thing like 5 years ago now, and understood not to. He just had the feeling, he just knew. He had that inner knowing. He also recognizes everything that's going on in the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the geopolitical. Gosh, okay, so I wonder what percentage of the population would you say is awake enough at this point in time? That's another question. So is it possible for those that are not like us to be awake, or is that just an impossibility? Is everybody that's truly Homo sapiens sapiens and has a soul, are they all awake? And, that's all we're going to get as far as that goes, because there's no way the other ones could wake up.
I think it's such a mixed bag out there. I think there's still not enough of us. I wish there were, but when I go out to the grocery store, I don't feel like I could have a conversation about aliens to 80% of the people I meet,
But I bet you could. I bet you actually could. I think that it's changed that
Let's
much.
go try it. Let's bring our microphone out to Walmart. And what do you think about aliens? I mean,
Well, Rob Zombie years ago, he did a video, and it was for the song "More Human Than Human," where he's like in New York City with a big, big poster board with "More Human Than Human." What if we were like down there in Times Square or something and said a big poster board saying, "I'm human. Are you?"
I know. Let's see. Melanie says, I think people are raising their eyebrows, but they haven't looked up yet. I like that. That's true. That's true. People are not looking up yet. I don't feel. And then I feel really sad because I know a lot of the folks would probably be awake, but they're so busy working, just trying to cover bills, pay for food, do the things, whether it be bills, health care, their own health, whatever. It's expensive out there, and it takes about 3 jobs to keep it going.
We have a doctor in the house, our ER Karma doc. Have you noticed anything because obviously, you're in a ER room doctor. Have you noticed anything where you could tell the ones that you think are hybrids or not like us? Curious if you noticed anything.
Yeah, it's really curious, if there's any one thing you continue to run into over and over that says, hey, this person might be different. I tend to get a feel for people, and sometimes when I go out, I haven't noticed that individual basis, but I have noticed when it seems like people are operating via a certain frequency. Like there's been a massive frequency sent out, and almost everyone just adheres to it. Like they're all watching the same TV show, and they're all just kind of walking the same pace, and they don't really have much animation. I have seen that.
Elon Musk is the Astro Creep 2000. Yeah, I was a huge White Zombie fan back in the day. Seen them several times. And, it always hit me when he's talking about more human than human. He's talking about the Anunnaki.
Yes, I like that. Technologically savvy. People are awakened but deeply confused. Yeah, that's a fair statement because of all the information is out there. Karma Dog says, it's hard to say. I just lack filter and say what I want. Most patients are relieved. I bet they are. As soon as you see your doctor, it's like, oh, thank God. And that's just kind of all you see and all you do. I think she's pretty dedicated and focused.
Yeah, and there you go. We have Energies 1111 back in the house. So good to see you, Karen.
Good to see you, Miss Karen. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, and then we got this. Just, wow. This is quite a statement. So this is talking about if the U.S. annexes Greenland, what's going to happen? This is Austria Committee Chairman Fenglinger. Let's listen to what he says.
If you take it, we take every single base of the Americans from Aviano to Ramstein, from Romania to all the other military bases will be confiscated and you will lose it. And the whole position of American power since World War II, if you take Greenland, you have to leave. It's very simple, Mrs. Miller. This is the leverage we have. You need these bases for global power projection. You won't have it. And we can defend ourselves very well, and we will do that without the US nuclear shield, without the US troops in Europe, without the American bases. We will simply run these bases ourselves, and we run your boys home into Chicago. Yeah.
Wow. Ooh, those sound like fighting words.
Wow, he sounds feisty.
He sure does sound feisty. Yeah, things are getting very, very touchy and testy. It's pretty obvious. You have statement from not just him, but other European leaders saying, no hands on Greenland. And the Danish PM, again saying, no, it's not for sale. Because, again, there's different ways of annexing Greenland. But it definitely seems that 47 has it on his mind, Greenland, Canada, all the way maybe down to Colombia and Venezuela too. In fact, the entire Western Hemisphere.
So, I just want to point out, Jim, yes, I really think there is something coming. And I think that's what my tossing and turning was last night, because I can be a squirrely person. I can really kind of just always be a little on edge. But last night it was another level. It was truly another level. It's like, okay, this is how I get annoyingly buzzy, but this is just beyond annoyingly buzzy. So it felt like also something outside of my body.
Yeah, absolutely. So the singer for Rammstein had slit eyes in 4K during a concert. It wouldn't surprise me when you get down to it. To get to that level, they open themselves up to that overshadowing. By the way, over here we see 16 oil tankers from BRICS nations, including Brazil, Russia, China, India, along with Mexico and other countries, are bypassing the U.S. blockade to load Venezuelan oil, according to Reuters. Will there be an incident? China, by the way, said, hands off any ships that are heading our way with our oil.
Yeah, it's it's just something crazy. Poor Karma Doc says she woke up screaming and crying, and I just think, you need a Rama. If the nightmares, I get it, and when I wake up and I see my Rama or Sita, I'm all better.
Yeah, Sita's by Cindy's side, Rama's right by my side, and Sassy's usually down at the feet. That's the way it goes. So obviously things are building. Honestly, I felt that the 6th through the 12th is a real tense time. And it is astrologically too. The 6th through the 10th, which always when you look at these astrological conjunctions, they can have an effect before those key dates or after. But yeah, absolutely. It feels very, very tenuous right now. So this is breaking. President Trump and his team are reportedly considering purchasing Greenland from Denmark or forming a compact of free association with the island, crucial for our national security. Denmark and Greenland have just requested a meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This is huge. We need Greenland for national security. China and Russia are all over it. Many options on the table, and Trump is a deal maker. Well, we will see. Rubio was doing a very long press briefing, and he was flowing beautifully between the Spanish and the English. Seemed like a lot of people were impressed with his performance there, flowing. He does have very good Castilian Spanish. But again, his family comes from Cuba, too. Just in, China preparing to transfer missiles, air defenses, and drones to Venezuela to escort Chinese oil tankers, as Delcy Rodriguez has become the new president of Venezuela. Or is she really? Who is really running the show? There's reports that anything from open civil war to some guerrilla actions to no, everything is just fine, and there's nothing like that. There are videos where you could hear gunfire, but I didn't see anything directly. I mean, it could have been people just shooting up into the air. So I didn't see anything that showed that definitively. But at the same time, this is how it rolls. And there's always mercenaries that are out there, people that have gone to war from different countries that you can always simply pay, and they'll do whatever. That is a sad fact, and it's very, very true. How about Wagner Group? But you got to wonder about them. Are they in Venezuela? A long time ago, I heard that they were.
And I'm watching this thing, it all seems so staged. Like the camera angles with Maduro are so perfect, and the way he walks, and, he was wishing everyone Happy New Year. And, I don't know, it just feels so weird with Maduro. Everything feels really, hey, look at this, hey, look at that. And I feel if there's ever been a time where we're on the Truman Show, this is it. This is it. So I really think they're checking all of our stuff in real time. I really, really do.
So, yeah, I just took a peek on my iPad. Back in October, there were sightings that were military transport planes that were linked to the Wagner group, which is part of Russia's military structure. They're technically, they're an army for hire, but they have been used by Russia. So they were seen about 3 months ago entering Venezuela. So yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. And Iran's a mess too. Iranian police and Islam have now joined the revolution. Well, again, it depends on what news source you're seeing it from, because, some will say that's not the case at all. Sometimes you'll see these protests are against the Iranian government, then other times you'll see the same protest and people will be saying they're protesting against the U.S. and EU interference. So, again, there's nothing but just constant lies and distortion. It's all one big psyop on humanity.
It is, and Karmaduck says special ops have been there a while and continue to be. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like every millimeter of this whole situation it's crawling with cameras and video, and so much so it's like there's not an imperfect hair on Maduro's head, and it's what's going on with that. So I don't know. I'm just really kind of in observation mode right now, really preparing for this week coming up, this next week coming up with the planetary alignments that we have. Guys, it's a big one. It's a big one because we have Jupiter aspecting some, planets that are very bittersweet. So I do expect some kind of a jolt this weekend. I mean, this week, next few days.
Yeah, I would say the next week. It feels like there's something pretty big brewing. Yeah, and I would definitely listen to Karma Doc. She is former military herself. If you need to get to the choppa to get the heck out of there, she'll get you out of there.
She can help there. Yep.
Help in the operating room and help you get to the choppa. By the way, 4 CDC officials were fired today after advising RFK Jr. to call for putting, Simon Says back on. Simon Says, okay, you could take them off. Simon Says back on. So anyway, they advised that people put them on again, and they got fired. It kind of feels kind of good.
Yeah, I know it does. There we go.
And so all eyes are on Iran. Again, the polar psychic Christoph has said that Israel is likely to strike Iran. And he said that if and when they do, the reprisal would be so big that Israel might not be able to recover. And he also had mentioned 2 nations that hadn't been evolved before that would respond. And we have Middle East sources claiming the U.S. and Israel could launch a joint military operation against Iran within the next 72 hours. Obviously everything is pretty tense right now. We'll have to see, and obviously hope that's not the case.
Yeah, and then there was that this thing we're looking at right here. The judge presiding over this person's corruption case was found deceased. I mean, really? Can it get any more blatant than that?
Well, they say it was a traffic accident. He was riding a motorcycle, and then he was struck by a vehicle that entered from an off-road side area and went in and collided into his bike. And so, he is deceased. And, he was doing the investigation on the guy over here to the left, with the blue tie. Meanwhile, there's tons of protests going on as well. And there has been protests in Israel. And these protests, don't forget when we had the big attack in October, several years ago. That happened when there were protests right at his house. And then you had that big attack. And then, all chaos ensued.
Mm-hmm. I know. It has been a mess, Karma Dog says. It's all fake and gay. I know. Everything is just kind of a mess. Everything is, it's scripted. It's so scripted. I guess I'm upset about the scripting thing because they're really going overboard to me. It's really going overboard. Is like, come on, guys. I mean, enough is enough. Aw, thank you, Ravi.
Thank you, Brother Robbie. We truly appreciate it. 2,000 agents deploying to Minneapolis in immigration crackdown. So about 2,000 ICE and HSI officers are being deployed for a 30-day surge targeting immigrants with deportation orders. Yeah, these are definitely tense times. By the way, the Trump administration's halting $10 billion in social service funding in 5 states. What states? Minnesota, New York, California, Illinois, and Colorado. They're all blue states, aren't they?
Well, what do we think about that, everybody? Isn't that kind of curious? Things are just kind of coming up left and right, making things look really interesting these days.
And we have Elena sighting. Good to see you over there in Western North Carolina. Beautiful, wonderful Waynesville area. John and Jen, great to see you as well. Crazy times, guys. Crazy times. So, yeah, this is due to fraud. Yeah, so, man, it's just, there's so many different things going on. And how about this? You have Scott Stevens, a weather forecaster, meteorologist, is now warning the world about geoengineering and weather modification. Yeah, it's so wild how so many people out there would debunk it left and right, even when there was official papers that said that we were doing this, that the military was doing this, different agencies, they would still debunk it. But wait a minute, you're debunking something that's been admitted to. Don't you think that's kind of stupid? But here you go. Again, a lot of them were coerced and a lot of them felt pressure. They were not allowed to talk about these things.
No, and I think we're seeing the pattern. It's so blatant now that people are a little bit tired of it. But I don't know, that some people still have roles to play and things to do. And it's like they have a play to make and they're just going to make it no matter what, even if it does look redundant.
Yeah. So, I mean, in so many ways right now, everything coming out and everything, well, maybe not every single little detail, but on the big points, everything that we've been saying the entire time, the last 8 years, is, all coming out to be exactly pretty much what we were saying. Again, I woke up to the whole geoengineering thing in the early 90s. It was the early 90s. Again, I think I had a lot of awakening when I was bit by a tick and got Lyme disease. And then that sent me down a lot of rabbit holes. And, those rabbit holes never stopped. I learned all about, back then, I learned all about Plum Island, which, I lived in Connecticut across from Plum Island. So, myself, my cousins, I would go camping with them as a little kid, and my uncle. They're very outdoors people. They were always outdoors. And yeah, every single one of us, all got bit by ticks and all went through Lymes at some point. It just seems like, so if you're in coastal Connecticut, either you or another family member probably got Lymes at some point, but now it's just so rampant.
Oh, now it's everywhere, and I'll never forget last summer how many of those ticks we had everywhere. It was a full-on attack. It was crazy. It was horrible. But, with the weather forecaster, warning people, that's really good. I mean, mass warning, that's wonderful. I'm just really hoping that there's going to be something behind it, like what's going to back it up. We'll have to see.
Yeah, as John and Jen are pointing out, and Susan pointing out, the structured nature of all of this, that's a fabulous fact there, Susan. 1965, Jefferson Airplane, later became Jefferson Starship. White Rabbit there, that song White Rabbit, and their first gig at the Matrix, a San Francisco music venue. Oh, yeah, just you can't You can't. Oh yeah, I can eat beef, John and Jen. So I didn't get that aspect of the Lyme thing.
It was pretty rough though. It was really suspicious because we had so many bugs. It was almost like we were hit on purpose. There were so many. I mean, just plucking them off, and we were doing all the things. We were doing all the things to push them away and take care of ourselves, and it still happened. And just Sita got one and Mike got two, and these wounds, they swelled up and they blistered, and they just didn't look right. They absolutely did not look right. Sita got a really weird limp. She became lame, very, very lame. Mike, I mean, call it coincidence if you want, 4 or 5 days later is in the ER. So it was really such a difficult time. So I mean, to say that they're just doing Lyme, I don't think it's just Lyme. I think there's a lot going on in those bugs.
Yeah. So I mean, it caused. I mean, I do think that absolutely contributed to the acute appendicitis, and I have no doubts about that.
And then, not to mention, the other 3 people very local to us in the area also ended up in an emergency room. So there's that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, those incurable diseases can be cured. Absolutely, that's true, Diana. We've watched it. We've witnessed it with so many people, with a lot of you guys. And, there's so many people over the years that we've worked on, and family members of family members. And, miracles can and do happen. I just don't think they happen really that much, if at all, in a certain form of mainstream care, if you know what I mean.
So the best thing, just the number one safest thing we can do when you were dealing with ascension symptoms is first you drink water. Just drink lots of water. Start taking care of your temple as best as you can. And then, then sometimes you have to start heading down rabbit holes. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Water is so critical to ease that.
Karma Doc put a link out there. Check out her friend's book, A.W. Finnegan, thesleeperagent.com. And, we know people that are in very high places in the alphabet soups. And, they're really wanting change. And there are people. So I know sometimes I could be a little cynical when it comes to quote unquote white hats, because I haven't felt that the white hats are truly in charge. Like you get from so many other channels out there. Don't worry, the white hat's got this. Yeah, I'm a little cynical compared to some, I would say. But there are white hats within, and they're definitely, they can't wait for real change. But I think the real change, it is happening. It's a mixed bag right now. It certainly is a mixed bag. There's a lot of heavy hitting stuff that's not that good, but there are good things happening. And the biggest thing is just the amount of people that are really waking up.
Well, that's what we need. That's the thing that we need the most. We need the majority. And there's some really wild things going around out there that people are taking very, very seriously. And they should. So I'm happy to see that. I mean, we're seeing positive change left and right. Is it going to be too little too late? I don't know. I hope not. I think we're destined to go through some bumps and bruises. I really do. I don't think there's any way around that. But can we mitigate quite a lot of it? Absolutely.
Surviving Life Unplugged has Alpha Gal right now from a tick bite. Also did all the natural things to keep them away. The thing that you can do is definitely put things into like a dormancy. So, for me personally, one of the things that I found was the most powerful was building up the life force. And Qigong, believe it or not, Qigong was, I thought, the number one thing, building the life force in your body, which you can do just by concentration and breathing. So, we do have Qigong playlists, and I know personally I've met some of the best Qigong masters in the world. I've gotten to be in their presence. I've had the blessing of being in a room that had probably about 300 of the top practitioners, not just in the United States, but from all over the world. And we gathered and built energy as a group. It was insane. I mean, it made you giddy. It made you actually silly giddy, because it was just an overwhelming feeling of tingling, pure positivity.
You know, it can really do a lot for the body. The oxygen, you know, the cell movement, opening your meridians. It's all really, really, really important for just day-to-day activity and to keep the body healthy. And it just really helps for mood in general.
So here's a warning post there. Not financial advice, but this is saying 98% of people will lose everything in 2026. I don't think I'm going to be that much of a Debbie Downer. I don't think it's that high, though. I think they are going to be definitely starting the switch over. We may have a new form of currency in the United States. I would not be surprised if by the end of the year we don't have like at least a digital dollar that's in wide use, or something else might happen. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of things that come out of the blue for the masses, but for those that have been watching, it won't really be a surprise. Japan's 10-year bond rate is 2.13, highest since 1999. The U.S. 10-year is 4.14, the highest since 2007. We know what happened in 2008, right? China's 10-year is 1.88, highest since 2003. This person says Japan's the key domino. And Japan owns about 1.2 trillion of U.S. government bonds. Yeah, you know, when things go really sour and the direct confrontation happens, then yeah, absolutely, the economy is going to be terrified.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. You know, I think we're going to have bumps in that area too. How bad, I don't know, but with any change, any raising, slowing of economy, it can be nerve-wracking, and you have a lot of people that are kind of chewing their fingernails wondering what's going to happen. I think, you know, when it comes to money and stress, money is probably the one thing that unfortunately puts a lot of people in the grave. And you know, it can do a lot of good. I mean, money can really do a lot of good if it's aimed in the right direction, but boy, oh boy, it can do a lot of harm. It's a tool. It's definitely a tool, and hopefully it's in the hands of responsible people, but not always.
I think, you know, again, have eggs in different baskets, so to speak, as best as you can, you know, because it's definitely going to be a bumpy road. This one's from Dr. Jane Ruby. Everybody should own tabletop and portable nebulizers, plenty of food grade 3% hydrogen peroxide for a 1-to-1 mix with sterile normal saline, and nebulize preventively at least once a day. Now, we haven't done anything like that. I feel very confident in my immune system overall. So, you know, but again, everybody is very, very different. There are a lot of things that are being, well, you know, clouds are being made of. And this is 20 chemicals that we could just say supposedly are out there. So, you know, you might want to be aware of these things. Again, this is why we always talk about trying to detox daily. Listen to your body. Again, one of the best forms of detoxing is getting your body moving and sweating. And I was really, really proud of Cindy, because we do our walks, and I think what we do 2.5 miles, like up and down a little bit of a hill. But Cindy was doing it with a weighted vest. Way to go.
That's a good way to get it done and get the weights in. We really need to get the weights in when we're, you know, going through hormone shifts. But I mean, you really should do the weights all the time, because that muscle holds medicine that we need. And if we can just keep that muscle good and strong, it really helps our immune system. So important. And with all the spraying that we have going on, I think it's good to have a go-to. I think psychologically people may feel that they need to do something about it, because you look at all that stuff you psychologically, let's look at that for a minute. So it's like wafting down, right? You're inhaling it. That alone, just that alone must mess with people. But if you are diligent about taking care of your immune system and you're doing all the things, plus you're doing something like this, you're doing a little extra, then that also does something to the nervous system and your mind and your body. You're kind of covering all your bases. So I think this is a good thing.
Technologically savvy says, is there anything that could be done in general to prevent the repeating symptoms other than drinking extra water, like for ear ringing and shifts, dizziness? Again,
So many variables.
there's so many different variables. I think you really have to look at your diet first and foremost, because if you're still on somewhat of a SADS diet, that definitely is a big influence. Because like for me, I had allergies. I even had pretty bad asthma. I had bronchitis that turned into walking pneumonia once when I was, I want to say about 22 or 23. And it literally scarred my left lung. But I've been able to correct that, and really all my allergies went away. The asthma went away. I don't really have any breathing problems. Haven't had any breathing problems for close to 20 years now, I would say. Yeah, like 19 years. And what was the difference? Well, I shifted my diet. I got very, very strict. And I cut out really processed foods. But I did work out before, all that went away, and I've worked out after. But I would say the thing that really cleared it up the most was really the strictness, and not taking in Domino's pizza on Friday nights and things.
That's really important. Really important. The food, the diet, everything that goes into your body, especially going through something like that, because now your body is kind of in a hyper arousal state. You really want to be very mindful. Certain kinds of energy work can definitely help with that. When Mike and I, if we have a hiccup or something physically, we work on each other. So that's been very, very helpful. Let's see, binaural beats, anything that can help calm the nervous system is really going to help.
Yeah, and Tertarian Vagabond, people need to learn skills to take care of themselves and not rely on others. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to rely on the system. That's obvious. And I really think it's the lifestyle. It's the healthy lifestyle and sticking with it. It's like one of the last things that I let go of was a glass of wine before bed. It was something I was used to for forever. And, then I just, through Cindy's diligence at saying you could do this, and it's like, okay. And so I stopped it, and it's been like 5 years with like no alcohol, and I don't have a need. And I loved it, before. That was like my favorite thing would be happy hour with some nice hors d'oeuvres and, a good French or Italian wine. But I just, decided to give it up because, if I really want to try to be the best version of myself and truly live it fully, I just felt like I should. And I have, and it really hasn't faced me, actually. I don't really miss it.
And what I like out there, what we've been seeing more and more is more people are giving up the alcohol. And I just think it's crazy that, you can drive by a liquor store, a vape shop, and things that aren't so good for you, and those are all legal, all while you're on your way to get the illegal raw milk, the illegal raw milk, and you pass all these other stores with stuff that's so definitely not good for you. But I think that people are finding other ways, if you are kind of appropriate, plant medicine is better than putting alcohol in your body, and I'm glad to see that's more and more widely available for people. the alcohol can do a lot of things on a lot of different levels and really kind of chew the body from the inside out and kind of rust it and rot it, and it's not good. So I really so proud of anybody who's been able to make that shift.
Yeah, I'm very proud of Robbie there, because Robbie has overcome these things too. 9 years sober. Way to go, brother Robbie. And you're welcome, technologically savvy. Much love too. Yes, I had bad asthma symptoms, and that stopped 2007 totally. So yeah, 2007 just gone totally, and hasn't come back at all.
Yeah, I was shocked in the South here where they have those drive-through daiquiri places. What the heck? And you couldn't get any raw milk? I mean, I'd ask for raw milk and people would look at me like I was trying to sell heroin. I mean, it was crazy. Yet you can go get a daiquiri. It was silly.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Drive-through daiquiri places. American doctor ran the same blood work through two different places. Same tests, actually two different pricing structures. Same test, same lab. With insurance, $1,086.75. Patient pays $252.12. Pay cash, $44. That's a rigged system. I mean, what else can you call that? That's not healthcare. That's extortion. It should be illegal.
Well, the way that they do the billing has always been really, really wonky, and it's just not fair. It's completely not fair. And what are we going to do? I think the best thing we can do is just, first of all, be very grateful we have like emergency rooms. We need those. They're getting everything dialed in. Thank goodness for those. But take back your own health, be responsible for what you eat, how you eat, all the things. Do your absolute best and then use that as a backup. To me, that's the tool that we all need.
Yes, absolutely. And please do make sure you guys are subscribed, and thumbs up always helps the algorithms, as well as leaving a comment. Yeah, that's just a rigged pricing system. It's just so wrong. The most common cause of high blood pressure is magnesium deficiency. You don't have high blood pressure because you have bad genes or you're aging or a voodoo curse. Your body ran out of the mineral magnesium. This is Dr. Peter Glidden. Also, one of the things that we have found is cholesterol is not your enemy. Now, again, those statins and all. And then the prevalence of certain diseases, again, it's the way the system is. I'll just say that it makes for repeat customers. It makes for a lot of repeat customers. So magnesium. Yeah, absolutely. It's at the heart of ATP energy production, participates in more than 600 enzymatic reactions. I've noticed a huge difference. We've been taking magnesium daily like 3 months now, 4 months, maybe it's longer, maybe it's closer to 6. But, there was a turnaround point where I started to go from feeling pretty good to like awesome. And that was part of it, I think.
You start to pile these little things on. You do all the little things and it does begin to build up, so you feel better and better and better. And you always want to have your minerals going in. You really should have your minerals balanced to a high degree, because if you don't have your minerals balanced and some are low, then that's when those bad heavy metals, that gives them the door to come on in, because your body thinks it needs them. It's like, oh, I'm lacking here. Well, I'll just grab any old metal. Sometimes the body doesn't know the difference, so it just latches onto something. Very important to have your minerals balanced. Just, things that we all should know, and I wish they would teach in kindergarten.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad that you enjoy these lives and they help. That's why we like to touch on a lot of different things. Here's Mount Etna, the volcano reactivated. As you can see, the lava flow. Isn't that really cool? People are, I don't know how safe it is, but you're skiing at night by lava light. Literal lava light.
Oh, God. Well, there's that. Oh, my goodness. That would be kind of wild and fun. And then look at these waves. I mean, that would be fun.
River.
Well, I guess it's flooding, but, too bad everybody didn't have a big old inner tube.
Oh, I did that as a kid. It was a blast. This is in Rome. The Tiber, the famous river, is reaching worrying levels, coming very close to the banks. Again, when we talk about buried civilizations under our feet, I think it's probably everywhere in the world. When you dig down, you're going to come to somebody else's home at some point in time. And, again, these times, it tends to be a lot of different things coming together. Meanwhile, physicists have discovered a quantum effect where the choices made in the present seem to alter events in the past. Well, if time itself is an illusion that's given to us because of our experience using a brain like the ones we have in us right now to navigate this 3D reality, then could we change the past by our actions right now?
Aw, thank you, John and Jen. We appreciate that so much. Make sure you guys stay at the end because we do the dings, the activations, the patterning, and the prayers. So thank you so much.
Kiri 6046 for lung health. Mullen, yes. Knack, yes. Time in moderation, yes. Good suggestions. Thank you again, Jen and John. Brazil nuts, yeah. There's a bag in the cupboard, 2 bags in the cupboard, and two
Brazil nuts a day.
2 Brazil nuts a day.
Yeah, 1 bag, 2 Brazil nuts a day, and I shouldn't eat any more than that.
Well, the only thing I ate all day so far was cashews. But we still have dinner to make after this, which is a little late for us. But today was just one of those days. So think about that. What choices you're making right now can literally alter the past. I do think that is the case.
I look at these things very much like, a broadcasting station, a radio station. So anytime somebody changes their tune or changes their frequency, that's going to go somewhere and it's going to do something else. It's going to bounce off something else in a different way. So there's just so much information when it comes to how we do things in our DNA, especially in our DNA. It's fascinating.
Sin Havoc, are you ready to see the black sun? Well, the black sun is what's going to reveal a lot of the hidden entities.
No, the black sun is a lot of fun. The black sun. So think of the black sun like this. So sometimes when you go outside and you have one of those black lights, you can see the things that you couldn't see before. When the black sun comes, we're going to see so many things. Then we're going to be able to see more into that visible light. The visible light spectrum is so itty bitty tiny right now, but that black light or the black sun is going to enhance that. So it's an exciting time. And when it comes to the sun sneezes, that is definitely never to be something that we should be afraid of. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to lose everything. No, we're going to gain. We're going to be able to at least be aware of all the different dimensions and all the other entities and elementals that are all around us. We're going to be able to see and understand. It's going to change our brain. It's going to change our bodies. It's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And little birdies told something to Diana there.
Oh, wow.
Look at how did she know that? So yeah, we spent a few hours talking to Daniel a couple days ago, and yes, we are scheduled. We are going to. I don't know. We're going to be on his show on the 19th, I think, and then he's going to come on with us after that. And then we'll probably work on doing something regularly with him like we do with Wayne. And then we would love to get back with David again, too. Yeah, we are working on branching out and drawing in some new contacts. But, yeah, it was interesting. Daniel approached us, and I remembered his channel. Like, yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Yeah, and they really kind of got a hold of him too. So they took him from like being really high up there to really not. So it hurts when that happens, because the knee-jerk reaction is to blame yourself. Like, what did I do wrong? Because that's just natural human. But it's not you. You're just really too close to the truth. So it's better just to pull you down.
Absolutely. Gigantic hidden ocean discovered 700 kilometers beneath Earth's surface. Yes, we've talked about, and also that there is locked up in the surface more water than's in all the oceans. But then we get to the point where, how big is the Earth? And, what are we really talking about here? Because, again, more people are waking up to the fact that the Earth is way bigger than what we're told. And we have gotten it from the guides that what we know as the Earth is only about 20-25% of the totality of the Earth.
Part we're in.
The part that we're in, yeah.
If not less. If not less.
If not less. And in fact, Cindy did send me a little photo that was pretty accurate. Ice wall included. And there is, that ice wall is more like a dimensional barrier of sorts. It's almost like, you remember Lost? Remember the show Lost? How they couldn't escape that type of thing? Well, it's kind of like that.
It is. It's fun. I think, I'm not sure, maybe we'll put it on Patreon. So I've been spending a little bit of time on that. Trying to put it out there, what I see, as far as, it's not flat Earth, it's not round Earth, none of that. We have to really kind of take that concept and move it out of our minds. It's far more advanced and beautiful than we could imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Roxy Files and Children of the Most High are wonderful channels too. Yeah, we haven't met them formally yet, but yeah, they're in like a mass text. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, because then we also have other contacts through Wayne, and it's just becoming one bigger family, which is really, really cool. So, did you know there was all these different types of crystals? Do you know that they're all actually consciousness, and they can all be used for different purposes, but amplification is definitely one.
So I look at the crystals and I see them, actually all of our rocks, all of our stones. These are our elders. They carry information from when Earth was born, from when we were born here in this realm, and they carry so much healing power. That's really important to know, the healing power that these crystals can have. And sometimes they're very, very talkative, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're joking. Crystals are very, very unique when you do learn to hear them and understand them. I do have one. She's quite chatty, and my crystals, when we work with people, they volunteer. I have certain crystals that volunteer, and I always have them on a continual charging dock. And my charging dock came from Mama Jan. I mean, it's a beautiful, about 20-pound crystal from Arkansas. I mean, it is gorgeous. So everyone always gets a turn on the charging dock around here, and they get charged and loved and taken care of. I have one crystal that if I overwork her, she will hide. She's quite a character too. Came from a very, very, very special person too.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is do some dings.
Yes.
And let me see if I could find some cute little furry something here. And yeah, absolutely. Crystals speak through frequency and vibration. Absolutely. There's a boss, yeah. The real boss in the car in the back seat there. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Okay, you guys, please, you know how it works. Have a happy thought. That is so critical, because those energy waves are going out there, and they're going far, far out there. So I'm going to be doing dings. Mike is going to be running energy. And then we are going to do patterning, which you cannot hear, but we'll be doing that on the way out when we hit the pause button. And we do want to ask for some prayers for, I don't have a name, but I'm going to say Chris's mom. She's in the hospital and she needs some support. So if we could please send prayers out to her and just send a lot of good, positive energy for this next week. Let's just focus on this next week. I think there might be some hiccups, so hopefully it won't be so bad when we put good intention out there. So here we go. So I just want to say Chris's mom, she's a very, very special, beautiful woman, and we appreciate all the prayers, and we will keep you posted as I am kept posted. I'm going to start doing some patterning, and I'm just going to continue on, and you guys will still get that patterning energy even after Mike clicks off the OBS. So I'm going to start it now so we have that connection before we go. I want to say thanks so much for your support, everyone. Yes, tonight is Robbie, Jen and John, everyone else. Please do a thumbs up. It does help our algorithms. And here we go with the patterning. Source bless and namaste.
Loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my thoughts, actions, words, and deeds all contribute to the happiness and freedom of all beings. Thank you guys so much again. We love you very much. Namaste.
Namaste.